Hello my fellow snail sufferers. Today's video is a bit different. While I usually discuss the history or future of something in War Thunder, I just wanted to talk about this April Fool's game mode we've received. But before we dive into the video, make sure to comment down below your thoughts on this event so far and whether you believe Gaijin should make this a standard for ARB. As always, everything will be timestamped below so you can skip around. Let's get right into this. To be honest, it looks like it was heavily inspired, we'll say that, by Nuclear Option. The event we received is an air-realistic battle mode. Instead of the standard Call of Duty plane deathmatch we usually have, we have a mode where every aircraft has a role, team play is important, and most of all, it's fun. It's crazy to say. So what are the basics of the mode? Each team has multiple airfields with a big main airfield. The goal is to destroy the enemy airfields, but the main piece of the mode is a multitude of side objectives that usually must be completed before the enemy can defeat the main base. Each team has numerous supply depots that must be pushed back by your team. These supply depots are heavily defended by enemy SPAA. It starts off with short-range AA, medium-range AA, and then long-range SPAA like Patriot sights, S-300s, and even Bucks. The goal of each team is to destroy the enemy AA and supply depots to slowly push towards the enemy airfields, eventually allowing easier access to the airfields. This is coupled with a decently sized map, allowing for extended range combat. There's also a spawn point system in place that allows you to deploy 3 types of nukes on preset vehicles: small, medium, and the large ones found on the new bombers. The small ones are part of the first escalation phase. This bomb is good for taking out a good portion of AA, but still smaller, though it only costs 250 spawn points. The second largest costs 500 spawn points and can absolutely annihilate enemy supply depots in AA, as well as take out a huge chunk of an airfield. The final one is the new strategic bomber, the B-52 Stratofortress and the Tu-95, which costs a total of 2,500 spawn points. So, why does this matter? There are 2 reasons why this is important for gameplay. 1. Teamwork. While I know the War Thunder community is petrified of this word, I know, I said the bad word. I'm sorry, y'all. This game mode heavily relies on teamwork, which is something the game has been needing for a very long time. But how does this mode require teamwork? Well, that goes right into my second point. Vehicle roles. Each vehicle actually gets to assume its expected role. You have suppression of enemy air defense, or SEAD. You have your bombers, you have your strike aircraft, you have your fighters, and your interceptors. In order to push back enemy AA, you need effective SEAD aircrafts with SEAD loadouts. While a SEAD aircraft can carry ground munitions, it would be a lot more effective team-wise to have a dedicated SEAD push with a dedicated strike aircraft that can hit the supply depots in AA. Well, where do fighters come into play? Air superiority. Fighter aircrafts have to fight the enemy fighters to defend their strike aircrafts and SEAD aircrafts. Failure to do this or secure the air leads to them ultimately losing the match. Finally, we have our interceptors. The biggest role of an interceptor was to intercept enemy bombers and or high altitude fighters. Guess what? You have a reason to play interceptors in this game mode. The teams have the ability to spawn the strategic bomber if that someone has enough spawn points. This is either the B-52 Stratofortress or the Tupolev Tu-95, depending on the nation. They have one goal: reach the enemy base and nuke it with their payload to end the game. While currently these bombers are protected by ECM and basic countermeasures, they are highly vulnerable to enemy SPA and fighters, which is where the interceptors come in overall team play. Interceptor aircrafts can do their job and intercept a bomber. Isn't that crazy to say? I mean, we haven't seen that since prop gameplay. As an old War Thunder veteran, something I've always missed was the long match timer. These modes can last an hour and 30 minutes long, which is just amazing. This allows and encourages you to play the mode how it's supposed to be played. This also allows for long team play and strategy, which is another word I know the War Thunder community is afraid of, so I'm sorry. Secondly, it's not a one spawn game mode. In typical air realistic battles, you have one life. Once you're out, that's it. In this mode, like in Sim, you're able to spend SL to spawn. This encourages you to stay in the match for longer to help your team. And if you need to leave, it's no problem because other players can join the match. This alone fixes a core issue of players team killing others and getting kicked. Then you have one less player on your team. Finally, due to the long playtime you can occur, the SL and RP gains are absolutely insane. Look at this picture. This is what I managed to earn in a single match using the F-18C early for America. Not only did I make 800,000 Silver Lions, but I made 60 to 70,000 RP. If I had stuff to grind in America, I would be having a field day with this. The best part about it, I had fun, which is insane to me. I have fun grinding SL and continue to have fun grinding SL. That's something you just don't hear in War Thunder nowadays. So how could Gaijin make this mode work for top tier vehicles? What do they need to improve on? Currently, this mode is limited for 10.3 to 13.0 with a few banned vehicles. If they want this mode to work for ARB, they need to do some things such as extend the airfield distances. If you're talking about the minor airfields, they're currently about 50 kilometers from each other. This caused the F-14 RAF to be especially overpowered, as the Fokker was easily able to travel this distance and easily catch a frag. While this vehicle has since been removed from the mode, this is still a core problem, as our modern Foxeries would easily travel this distance and prove to be an issue for the match. I also think they need to refine the AI and objectives a little bit more. There should be a much larger delay for the smaller AA such as the Osas to shoot missiles, as they can currently absolutely spam and tend to annihilate seed missiles due to this. I also believe they could improve on the strategic bomber spawn points. While I do not believe the enemy team should be told that a bomber has spawned, they do spawn a bit close to the main base, which gives very little time for the team to properly react to the threat. I believe your team should be notified when a team member has deployed a bomber to encourage fighters to defend them. And as ECM evolves, the more these bombers can defend themselves from radar threats. And finally, the big one, balance. Currently in the event, it's rather unbalanced. Gaijin provides lower BR aircrafts like the F4E and the MiG-23 MLD. However, for some reason, they allowed players to bring in their own aircrafts up to the BR 13.0. Why they did this? No idea. The reason why this became such a big issue is because people were able to bring stuff like the F-14 RAF or, the F-15 and fight 10.3, 10.7 aircrafts, even the MiG-25, which, historically the F-15A would fight the MiG-25. The problem with that in War Thunder is it just turned into a giant farming event, and I can't lie, it was. I was a part of it. And I'm sorry to say that, but I definitely did farm with the American tree for some SL. Not to say that the Russians couldn't fight back if you do had a fly, which the problem is most don't, and you had a vehicle unlocked, you could totally fight, but it wasn't a balanced fight. And since then, Gaijin has released a patch and fixed this issue. They split up the BR brackets, so this is no longer a occurring issue. However, I do believe that as a standard mode, our current BR system would solve this issue largely. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. While I 100% agree that this mode has issues, it is an amazing start for a future game mode of ARB. I truly pray to the snail gods that this does not get ditched entirely like a certain submarine mode years ago. As always, I'd really like to hear your opinions on this. Make sure to comment down below. I try my best to read and respond to every single one of your guys' comments, as well as maybe leave a like and consider subscribing. It means the world to me and helps me grow to the big goal of 2,000 subs. Anyways, this is our sister. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.